Here at the Pink Grape, I interview winemakers from all over the world. Our purpose is to have fun, be entertained, discover new wines, and meet great people. I hope you will join our journey around the wine world by subscribing to my channel. If you like this video, please be sure to hit that like button, share it with a friend, and please enjoy the interview. Zacharias, welcome to the show, The Pink Grape. It is a pleasure having you on.
Thank you, Anthony, for the invitation. I'm happy that I'm here.
I want to dive right in and start with your story. How did you become a winemaker?
Yes, I have to say that I come from a wine growing family. So my family was experienced in wine growing. So my father and my grandfather were wine growers in our area. Actually, we are in Crete. In Crete is one of the biggest island in Greece, and I grew up here. And there we have our vineyards and our winery. So we come from a wine growing family. I studied enology at the beginning of 2000, and after my studies of enology, we decided to make the winery with my brothers. And right now we have three brothers who run the winery. So we are the first generation in winemaking.
And so, yeah, you get to run your own winery with your two brothers, your three brothers. What is that like? Is that sounds like it'd be a good time.
It's very, it's very fun. When we decided to make the winery, we decided that each of us will have all the works that we have to do to separate. So I'm the winemaker. I'm also responsible of the promotional and commercial things about the winery. The other brother is responsible of our vineyards. We own around 15 hectares in our area. And, it's very difficult to cultivate because if you will come and you will see the area, you will see that these 15 hectares are not like in Napa Valley or somewhere in one place. Actually, we have all these 15 hectares in 30 different points. So it's very, very difficult to cultivate. So Michael is my brother who is responsible for all the vineyards. And John, the other brother, is responsible for the works in the winery and all the others that we'll have to do. But of course, it's a small family business. All we're doing everything. It's common, so we'll have to be everywhere, and all the works are doing by all of us. But for your question, yes, it is very fun and it's very, very cool to work with your brothers and to manage and operate your business.
Now, you actually, as a winemaker, have traveled around the world and made wine, correct?
No, I have traveled. As I told you, I'm the first generation in winemaking, and we have here a very nice story because I finished my studies in 2006 or 2005, 2006. And then it was a very critical point. What we have to do, maybe if we have to make some harvests around the world, like you say right now, or maybe we'll have to start and to make efforts to have our own winery. Fortunately, now we decided to make efforts to have our own winery, and we had our first vintage in 2008. As you remember, 2008 to 2012-13 was very, very hard time for Greece. And it was a little bit difficult. If we couldn't start at this time, maybe right now we haven't the winery, we haven't make all the vintages to our winery. So it was very, very important that we started this period. But okay, it was a dream to go and make wine outside of our country. Except of this, I have traveled just for educational trips. And I have traveled in many, especially in Europe, in many winemaking areas, and I have traveled to and visits, and I have doing many visits. I've visited a lot of wineries. Germany, a lot of wineries in Germany, in Italy, in France, of course. And this is actually my hobby, and I want to visit more and more winemaking areas that I've never visited before.
Nice. Yeah, and actually, that kind of leads me into the next question, and that is, like you mentioned, Greece. It's unique because it's not like Napa Valley where you can just plant 100 acres next to each other. Your vineyard is scattered all over the island in a sense. Plus, as a winemaking country, you're an island in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, which I'm sure has some sort of an impact on the wines that you wouldn't see in, for example, Napa Valley. So the question is, how does Greek wine, what's unique about Greek wine? What makes it stand out compared to wines that you've experienced on your travels to Germany, France, etc.?
In Greece, there is the history in winemaking in Greece is quite big. I mean that here in Crete, we produce wines since the Minoan times. Since the Minoan times means that it's around 3,000 years before Christ. So winemaking here in our area comes from the one generation to the other, except of course some periods that we couldn't produce wine, like the Ottomans occupation that we had around 400 years, and we couldn't produce, it was forbidden to, and the production was not rising. But after that, right now, the production is very, very high. The production is raising a lot. And also we have great, very, very unique and great wines. What I mean, Crete and Greece has a lot of indigenous and very, very interesting varieties. This is very, very important because, of course, we have some international varieties as the grapes that are cultivated all over the world. But the benefit, and I think the advantage here is that we have to work and we have to play with many, many local and very, very interesting varieties, white, reds, and especially the whites. We have great varieties and we have great places. What I mean, as you told about Mediterranean, Mediterranean, it's a lovely place to produce wines, to cultivate vineyards. We have, especially here in Crete, we have the benefit from the breeze from the Aegean Sea, and that always is cooling all our vineyards. And it's very, very important to produce, especially the white wines that we have. Except of that, in Crete, especially in Crete, we have the altitudes. If you come, and you will come in Crete and visit the place here, if you will come, you will see that we have very, very different. We have 3 big mountains in the island. The mountains are more than 2,450 meters. And these are, with them, we have a lot of rains, we have a lot of snow, we have periods that we have a lot of snow. In our area this year, we are in Crete, in a hot place, but the last year, from January to March, we had 3 times that we had a lot of snow. At an altitude about 400 meters. All this climate makes the wines and the cultivation here very unique and very important, and encouraged us to continue and to make more and more beautiful wines.
Yes. Wow, that's a great way to explain it. And actually, now you've got me thirsty for some Greek wine, so maybe I'll go buy a bottle tonight. But that was actually kind of answers my next question, which was I wanted you to talk to us a little bit about your wines and tell us about your wine. I still would like you to do that, but I think what you just explained about Greek wines and the island specifically that you're on, I think that really tells us a little bit about what we can expect. But is there anything else you'd like to tell us specifically about your wine?
A very important thing that I have to tell about all the wines here is that, we had, maybe you know about, we had the phylloxera. The phylloxera came to Europe at the Northern Europe, Italy and France, at the end of at the 1920s. Here in Crete came at the 1980s. So Crete and in many places in Greece came at the 1980s, except some specific areas, as Santorini. Santorini is it's an island in front of Crete that it is a volcanic island, and there the grapes are pre-phylloxera grapes. So the vineyards are pre-phylloxera vineyards. So they produce, maybe you have heard about Assyrtiko. Assyrtiko is the grape, the Greek grape, very, very well known all over the world. And right now, many people cultivate Assyrtiko except Greece, also in some other countries. Yes, I wanted to say that the phylloxera came at the end of the 1980s here, and then we have the replanting. It was the first time that in Crete and in Greece we had some international grapes. We have not before international grapes as Syrah, Cabernet Sauvignon, Chardonnay, or something like that. So after 1990s, it was the first time that we had the international grapes. And then, of course, we have the replanting of the local grapes. And in Crete, we have at the end of all these 20 years, from 2000 to 2020, we have a huge rising in winemaking. Many wineries, small family wineries, focused a lot in the quality products, in quality, cultivated a lot unique local varieties. And right now, we have great results. The important that I want to say this is that this comes from grapes, from vineyards that are not more than 20 to 30 years old. So the next years, we believe a lot in our potential, and we believe a lot in winemaking from this unique terroir and microclimates that we cultivate our vineyard.
And like you pointed out, one thing that's unique to Greece is that, like in the United States or maybe Australia, you get some of these massive wineries that they really do mass production stuff. Well, you're not really going to find that in Greece, are you? You're going to find more wineries that are more family estates like yours, where everything is just attention to detail is there, the quality is there, the passion for making the wine is really relevant in a place like Greece, because of the, it's not like the Napa Valley, like you said, where it's just this massive grounds that you can plant hundreds of acres on.
In the past, there are, especially, in Greece and in Crete, of course, we had a lot of, about the cooperatives. We have some cooperatives, and that they had, of course, huge amounts of production and of massive products like that you told before. The last 20 years in Crete and in Greece, there is the winemaking is making a lot of progress. And right now we have great small producers with focusing a lot in the quality products all over the Greece, especially the local varieties. And this is very, very important. And, it's very, very important because the wineries are increased a lot the last 20 years in Greece. And this is important because to be a winemaking, to be a famous winemaking area and to produce wines, of course, you need to have a lot of wineries and to have a lot of efforts to the quality direction.
I'd like to end with, what is your favorite thing about wine? I think we did touch a little bit throughout this interview on what it is that makes you so passionate about wine, but what is it that you love about wine the most?
I always, of course, love wine is something like a product. It's like a product that comes from the earth, the grape. But how many books you have read about wine? How many universities there are based all over the world in wine? Maybe this is the very, very important thing that makes wine a very different and different, very, very different, a different idea than a common product, maybe like potatoes or like a product that comes from a kind of vegetable. So this is the magic of the wine. I mean that wine is something that all over the world, thousands and million people they work talking about this experience. I like a lot the harvest period. The harvest period is very, very tired period. If you will see all the winemakers, I know you are a winemaker in harvest. There is a lot of many things that you have to do in a very short time, and this sometimes it's very difficult. It's not boring, but it's very stressed and nervous. But of course, it's the most fantastic period of the year. The creation, and every night we try the tanks with the new juices, or we could see the progress in fermentation. It's very, very important, very, very interesting, and it's something that I always love.
Yeah, that's a great point. I remember working a few harvests myself as a winemaker in Europe, and the harvest time is just so full of life. I mean, you got grapes coming in, you got an extra 100 people at the winery I was at come in just for the season to help pick the grapes and make the wine. And like you said, the fermentation, a lot of times you're working 18 hours a day, but lunch, there's a big lunch table, especially at this winery in France I was at, and there'd be 100 people at the table and everyone's eating from a barbecue, and the wine's going, and then everyone's back to work making more wine. So it's just a great time of year that's just full of life and energy, and that's a great point. But Zacharias, I do appreciate you being on the show, The Pink Grape, today. It has been a pleasure. And for anyone watching that wants to learn more about you, about your wines, maybe reach out to you or come visit you in Greece, I will definitely leave the link to your website in the description below, and we'll shout it out on all our social media accounts. So again, pleasure having you on, and look forward to speaking with you again.
Thanks a lot, Anthony. It was my pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed this week's interview with a winemaker. Be sure to tune in next week as I'll be interviewing another winemaker. I hope you will join our journey around the wine world by subscribing to this channel. Be sure to like this video and share it with a friend. We'll see you next week. Thank you.